The WNBA Players Association asked for 30% of the league's revenue to go to the players. The WNBA responded with an offer of 15%, but according to reporting from Natalie Squadra, that 15% is not even guaranteed, it's just the maximum they might get, not the minimum. Right now, players receive 9.3%. So in reality, the league has only moved about 5 percentage points while the gap between the two sides is still around 30 points. That doesn't feel like real negotiation, it feels more like a challenge. Here's what makes this interesting. The WNBA isn't rejecting everything the players asked for. They agreed to charter travel, gave pregnant players the right to approve trades, and offered upgrades to the League Pass system, 37 specific improvements, according to Sports Business Journal. But on the biggest issue, money, they barely changed their offer. That says a lot about their strategy. The league seems to believe the players won't actually go on strike. With expansion teams coming, the FIFA World Cup drawing global attention, and momentum from last season's ratings growth, they think the players have too much to lose by walking away. It's basically a game of chicken, and the league just pressed the accelerator. Now this is where it really gets complicated. The WNBA season is supposed to start in mid-May, but before that can even happen, a lot has to fall into place. Toronto needs to hold its expansion draft, free agency has to be finalized, and the rookie draft needs a set date. On top of all that, there's already a built-in break because national teams, including United States Women's National Basketball Team, will be competing in the FIBA Women's Basketball World Cup. If the season gets delayed, it's not just about starting later. It means squeezing games into an already tight calendar around international play. That could lead to more back-to-backs and more games packed into fewer days, right when players are coming back from representing their countries. Logistically, it becomes a headache fast. And the WNBA Players Association understands that pressure. They know the league wants to start on time. That's why the recent Instagram post was so calculated. They shared throwback footage of NBA players striking during All-Star Weekend. That's not random, that's a signal. With NBA All-Star Game happening February 16 in San Francisco, if WNBA players showed up with picket signs, it would put their labor fight on national TV during the NBA's biggest showcase. That's leverage, and both sides know it. While the business side of the WNBA is drifting toward a possible work stoppage, Caitlin Clark is locked in. She's not just casually getting shots up. New footage shared by her photographer Bree shows her running 5-on-5 drills, pulling up off the dribble, and clearly working to get back into full game rhythm. No other Indiana Fever players appear in the clips, which suggests she's operating on her own schedule instead of waiting for official team activities. She's preparing for two major things. First, USA basketball competition, with the FIBA Women's Basketball World Cup qualifiers coming up soon in Puerto Rico. Second, the 2026 WNBA season, assuming it starts on time. And about the talk of her possibly coming off the bench for Team USA? The way she's training doesn't look like someone preparing to be a backup. It looks like someone getting ready to compete for a major role. The shoes in that workout clip definitely got people talking. They look like Kobe 5s, but it's a colorway nobody recognizes. That immediately sparked rumors about a possible tie-in with Nike and the Nike Kobe line. Then Caitlin Clark jumped on social media and basically said, "I never confirmed what they are. Don't worry, I've got super cool stuff coming this season," with a laughing emoji. So now the speculation machine is in overdrive. Either it's a new Kobe collaboration we haven't seen yet, or she's gearing up to launch something of her own. Some fans even tossed out a random connection to the Parent Trap, which feels like a stretch, but that's how internet theories work. What's more telling is that her trainer in the footage is wearing CC-branded gear. Her brand presence is growing fast. And that's why a potential work stoppage would hit her differently. Clark was a major driver of last season's rating spike. Her games averaged 3.2 million viewers on ESPN, and the league's surge in popularity is closely tied to her rookie year with the Indiana Fever. If there's no WNBA basketball in May because of a lockout, that momentum pauses. And her second season, already expected to be even bigger, could get delayed or disrupted right when her star power is peaking. There's still a long checklist before the WNBA can tip off. Toronto and Portland both need expansion drafts. Free agency has to play out. The rookie draft needs an official date and time. And this year isn't normal because of FIBA Women's Basketball World Cup competition. There's already a planned in-season break so players can represent their countries. If the season start gets pushed back, it doesn't just delay opening night. It squeezes everything, more back-to-backs, tighter travel, less recovery, around international play. That's a scheduling domino effect nobody wants. At the center of it all, the WNBA Players Association and the league are still far apart on the main issue, revenue sharing. Yes, side benefits have improved. But the core question, whether players can earn enough to stay in the US year-round instead of going overseas every off-season, hasn't moved in a meaningful way. With May approaching, time pressure is real. The union hinting at picketing during NBA All-Star Game weekend would be a strategic move. That would put the labor fight front and center on national television at the exact moment basketball media attention peaks. It would also put pressure on the NBA, which owns roughly half the WNBA, to publicly address the dispute, especially since many NBA players have openly supported higher pay for WNBA athletes. Meanwhile, the league's reported 15% revenue share offer, framed as a ceiling, not a guaranteed floor, signals that ownership believes the players won't actually walk away. It feels less like a compromise and more like a test. Are the players willing to risk momentum from expansion, global visibility during the World Cup cycle, and the surge in attention fueled by Caitlin Clark's breakout season? That's the real standoff. Not just money, but leverage, timing, and who blinks first. When you zoom out, the players' ask isn't wild. The WNBA Players Association wants 30% revenue sharing. That's well below the roughly 50% split players get in the NBA, but it reflects the idea that the WNBA is still growing. And growth is clearly happening. New media deals, expansion teams reportedly valued around $250 million, attendance up, ratings up. The money pie is getting bigger. The real fight is about how much of that bigger pie goes to the players. Charter flights, better league pass features, and pregnancy-related trade protections matter. They absolutely improve working conditions. But working conditions aren't the same as compensation. Charter flights don't build long-term wealth. League pass upgrades don't replace off-season income. And right now, many WNBA players still go overseas to make enough money to sustain a full-time career. That's the tension. Ownership seems to be betting that players won't risk it. A strike would mean missed paychecks, lost exposure, and potentially cooling off the momentum from last season's surge, especially with Caitlin Clark entering what was supposed to be a massive second year. From the league's perspective, offering 15%, reportedly as a ceiling, not a guaranteed floor, is a way of testing how serious the union is. But here's the flip side, The players arguably have more leverage than ever. The league is more visible. Media money is bigger. Expansion fees are significant. Public support, including from NBA players, has been loud. If there was ever a moment to push for a more favorable split, this would be it. The question is whether they're willing to absorb the short-term pain to force long-term change. If the union escalates, like picketing during NBA All-Star Game weekend, it turns a contract dispute into a national story at the peak of basketball coverage. That raises the stakes dramatically. So now it's a staring contest. The players asked for 30%. The league offered 15%. Neither side has blinked. If there's no real movement by mid-February, the conversation shifts from, will there be a delay, to, how long will it last? And that's when the cost of miscalculation, on either side, gets very real.